Hello, this is Phantom 2502 and welcome to my Satisfactory Megafactory tour for Update 3. Update 4 I'm going to restart, so since this is the end of Update 3, Update 4 drops next week. I'm going to give you guys a tour of my Megafactory. I put about 650 hours into this, so here we go. I don't have trains or trucks. I was going for an energy efficient factory, so I'm using basically conveyor belts for absolutely everything. Basically oil I get from the oil fields over here, run them on pipes. I don't really bring pipes up, so I don't have use for pumps. Everything's gravity fed. Basically water extraction I get from over here. I have well over, 200, 250 water extractors, some there. Those go to nuclear power plants, these go to nuclear power plants, and these ones here go for my factory, mostly refining. Alright, so that's what's in this area. And I think over here is, well, more water extractors, and a lot of pipes. Alright, and the pipes go over there to my nuclear power plant facilities. And let's go take a tour of the factory. Now I've turned this factory off, so nothing's running. Otherwise the lag would be a lot worse than it is right now. Basically the save file is almost unplayable, probably because I have everything in one area. I don't know, maybe you guys can see in the comments, maybe for my update 4 I should have different areas, maybe that'll make it less lag and more playable. But it's most of the reason why this isn't any further, because I literally can't play this even on the lowest settings without super lag. So basically that's my nuclear power plant. I've got 45 nuclear power plants on the top floor, 45 on the bottom floor. Everything with original recipes. I kind of did this whole thing before I even knew there was alternate recipes. Anyway, all the nuclear waste goes up there and into the sky up there. I have 25 by 26 by 3 industrial storage containers for storage up there. So about 1,950 industrial storage containers for the waste. I think in 650 hours, I think I've only used 12 or 13, so I really overdid that. That's my power setup. Basically, I haven't really needed, since I built that thing, ever had to worry about power issues. Alright, and then we're going to come into the mega base over here. So basically I built, all the section on the ground is every building 100% original recipes, and then there's a building over there where I have 100% alternate recipes, and then the Fixmas stuff is up there. As you see, I've got like vehicle transport around my base set up in these areas. So oil processing is over here, and then mostly iron processing. That's coke plants down there. A lot of iron processing on the ground over there. And do I want to come down? Yeah, we'll come down. Alright. So let's see, yeah, so coke plants, oil refining, all original recipes, all a bunch of iron stuff down there. Underneath us is where I have caterium processing. Kind of hard to tell, it's underneath these platforms. Let's see, what do I have on this side? This side over here is all copper processing. All the way down there through here, all that's copper. Alright. And then down here, this one is the main intersection of my conveyor highway network. So basically I'm able to go from my main base to anywhere in the game. That goes west, that goes northwest, and basically my bauxite, quartz, and uranium are all in that direction all the way up there. This goes straight up north in the map, northeast in the map to the desert dunes. This goes east to the swamp area. And then just some local paths. As for energy, as I said, I have everything turned off right now, so I'm only consuming a few hundred, but my capacity is almost 160,000. So this would be the main area where I started for this mega base. Basically limestone there, a bunch of steel stuff over here. Can't really see anything over on this side. Down in this area is sulfur processing over here. And I use the coal that's further up. You can't really see it from here. So my initial base was in this area where I have all my storage for every original item in the game. All manufacturing, all the processing comes in from other areas and everything gets manufactured in this area. Over on that side is mostly manual items. So I'd have one storage container you kind of put everything in, which I think is over there somewhere. And this was where I originally started this entire playthrough. I think for my update 4 I'll probably use the start space again, since I do like building in this area for the late game, especially because you get a lot of empty space off the edge of the map where you can build a whole bunch of stuff without having to ruin nice areas of the game. But as you see, it's even laggy. Just thing is, I think maybe just not putting everything in this area like I did might be a good idea. So yeah, I have these ramps all for my vehicles. Also, I think maybe not putting all windows everywhere. I mean, it looks nice, but I think that's where my when I started seeing the lag, when I started building these platforms. So I think in my update 4 playthrough, I think I'll leave that. So that's sulfur stuff down there. These are my original coal plants, which I transferred over to coke once I did that. My initial coal power setup was over here with my initial water extractor for these things. And then I do have some other local extractors in another pond that's nearby. Let's see, where I want to go next. I guess we'll go do the Fixmas village next. I guess we do Fixmas. As I said, this these roads things look nice, but makes everything very laggy. So this is was my garage. I didn't build too many vehicles, but there's the cyber wagon and a few explorers. This is just supposed to be a garage area so that I could go around anywhere in vehicles. This goes up to my main intersection. Alright, then we're going to go into the Fixmas event area. So every item is made at 100%, and all items in the game have overflow, or enough, to be producing more than 0 of every item. All using original recipes, and then in this big base is everything using alternate recipes. So that's how I have this split. Up here is my Fixmas area. As you see, I got my snowman with snow going on him. Yeah, that's just getting up to my nuclear waste area, so I can go do stuff. My Fixmas tree and my Fixmas storage facility. And here's all the Fixmas processing stuff and all the gift trees. And then these things are bringing in and out the iron ingots and copper ingots from my alternate recipe factory so that the Fixmas stuff can be built. And I did finish the Fixmas tree with the star on top. So that's that. All the way down here is my aluminum and quartz original recipe area down on the bottom on the land there, and my secondary water extractor area. So I went with the one that was over there near the coal plant, then did that little pond, and then decided to just put everything in the waterfall area that I showed you originally. So next is bring you through this area over here, which is after I set up my alternate base and built this huge base, I moved my hub to be on top over here. And basically there's a lot of sinks over here for overflow items mostly. With everything turned on, I was sinking about 5 million points per minute. Let's see, everything's unlocked. That over there was me starting the stage 3 of my base, which was trying to get 100% turbo motors for using every single resource in the map, and that was just beginning it. But as I said, due to the lag problems and the announcement of update 4, I decided to put a pause on that. But as you see, there's a huge space in there. I was planning out to make a absolute massive mega base. This one below does alternate recipes, everything at 100% with extra items, but only the like 1 turbo motor machine. Yeah, Sync's not going to be doing much right now. What does that say, 176,000? Yeah, it's not much. But yeah, I was doing 5 million at one point. I have a second storage area here for all the alternates. And as you see, I've got some transportation. So I've made myself a second base with another MAM. A power station so I can disconnect and connect. It'll be nice to have power switches in the new update. And this one is stuff I put into that goes into my base and right into storage. I just put whatever I want in there and it goes into my storage, which is a nice thing to have. And here's all of the items in the game. I decided to put storage in here in my new base, all the way around. Ooh. Cool. Basically all of these sinks, a lot of things from the thing below, from the base below, would have overflows, especially when starting up. Especially when you have assemblers and manufacturers, you might only get one side first before the other, and everything was combined in the lines using smart splitters to come off, so things would overflow. So I needed ways to get the belts flowing completely when not everything was processing. So a lot of these sinks are used, not all the time, but when needed for overflow items. Alright, so let's take a look at the facility of this big building facility for my alternate recipes. The only thing that's that alternate recipes that aren't here are the oil processing, which is done off-site. So basically, this one right here would be my turbo motor. That's the only turbo motor one I have. Basically everything's done so that that thing runs at 100%, and everything's run at 100%. So as you see, this is the end game manufacturing floor. You know, radio control units, turbo motors, supercomputers, computers, all that stuff's over on this floor. As you see, for belts, it is a lot of spaghetti, very, very tight. I mean, I guess organized spaghetti tightness, but there's tons of clipping everywhere in here. I mean, especially that mess over there. Big electromagnetic control rods in here, some assemblers. But basically I made sure everything ran into the next thing in order. So that's like, that row's a layer, then this row's a layer. each layer that's before does everything as prerequisites for the one after, all the way to the end. So this is the end processing floor, and basically there's a ramp there where everything comes up from the bottom processing floor down here. As you see, belts very, very tightly everywhere, as long as it fits. As long as it works, I don't care, and it's a very efficient use of space. Very, very, very tight belt work. Mostly all using smart splitters with a whole bunch of items on each other. I mean, just look at this belt work. Very, very tight, tons of clipping, but everything works properly. I think that one's gas filters, if I had to remember properly. So I'm just going to give you a view. So a lot of this is initial processing. I think it goes from this side over here over to this side and then goes up to the top floor there. But basically, I think over here is more a lot of quick wire, and a lot of quick wire in these assemblers over here, and copper wire initially, and then going over to, like, I think steel ingots, and then steel beams and cables, and then some a little bit of higher items like high-speed connectors and stators at the end. And then over on that side at the end there's compacted coal, and that compacted coal goes over to the oil processing area for turbo fuel. But as you see, everything very, very, very tightly into one zone. And look at that, this is where everything comes in. And upstairs I do store raw materials, so that's actually going back to the raw material splits again. Oh, hey, I guess I still have something running. Not much, but I did turn them off, but it takes a while for everything to bleed the whole system. So I guess not everything's completely running at zero right now. But I just see very, very tight belt work. I would not actually want to go in and repair anything in these areas. It would be nuts. Like, look at that. That gets both sides. Just super tight belt work. But yeah, this is my main mega base. I think I don't know, maybe not putting everything in one section, maybe not so tight. I don't know if anybody who has the mega base, especially like I'm Kibitz or something. I mean, if you have suggestions on how to make this not laggy, I mean, I guess no glass. I got tons of glass everywhere, so maybe not doing that. I've heard maybe not putting walls, using the trains instead of conveyors everywhere, maybe. And then basically, if you're wondering where refining is down on this floor down here. Basically all the refining. So this one at the end is quartz crystal and aluminum scrap. All get done in these two rows. And I think over here is caterium, ingots, and then copper sheets, copper ingots, and then iron ingots, I think, on the end. That's all I think that's done on this floor. Concrete's done below, but most of the, as you see, quite tight work with the belts, and a lot of water brought in. I ended up doing a mistake in the water. As you see, I did my pipes below and then brought them up. Don't do that. Always keep your pipes above and bring them down. I had a very hard time getting the water to go up these pipes, and it seems like water likes to find the lowest place. So always make sure your water pipes are high and then come down when you're using them. That's a tip. What I ended up doing to fix this is I just made sure there was like 600 more water than I was using. Water all comes in there, and then I think quartz and stuff comes in there as well for raw materials. And then I have some raw materials down in this corner that come in as well from outside the map. Alright. And this is all below down here. So there's a few limestone nodes down here and a few extra refineries I could not put above, mostly for concrete and iron ingots and copper ingots, which those ones for the most part go up to the Fixmas factory. And there's a few limestone nodes over there. So that's the underneath here, and you can see it just built everything on top. All the water into that entire area was all gravity fed. I didn't need pumps up there. And then basically ended most of my stuff, which was going to come into my huge mega base area with 100% turbo motor setup, but that's incomplete. For this storage and this storage down here, basically I was just running stuff from my factory into this area so I didn't have to go to my storage containers over my main base as I was building in this area. So it just brought materials I needed for the construction here. But as you see, I was basically making, this was going to be all, I think this is all iron ingot processing. There's a ton of it, and then over there was all iron wire, and I was just starting with multiple floors. I could build quite a lot in this area, as you see, so I had a huge room for expansion. But as I said, like, loading here was just uber laggy, but this was going to be my huge expansion area. And then we're just going to go see my oil processing and end the video. Because this is going to be long enough. Alright. One thing is, I wanted to put everything in one section in this one, but the thing is, starting to build these huge lines, like 75 in a row, constructors, and I think it was 60 in a row below of refineries, it was kind of boring. So maybe splitting that up for update 4 into different areas of the map instead of bringing everything into this section. 1 may help in lag, but 2 may help in like just fun. I mean, I still like this area maybe for like the end processing area, but I don't know, maybe this kind of setup with tons of stuff is just not the way to go, at least for fun value. Alright, geothermal generators is somewhere over there. I've got 2. And basically, this is my alternate recipe oil setup. Basically, it makes fabric, plastic, rubber, and packaged turbo fuel is done in this section, and then sent to the main base. So that's the setup over here. These are all the alternate recipe setup out there using these water extractors. And then basically my oil setup for my original recipes needed oil from here as well, because original recipe oil needs a lot. So that's what this stuff is over here that's on the ground. And basically the oil nodes are all, I think, down there and in there. But basically that's my entire factory, an overview. Hope you like it. If you want a more detailed view, at least of an earlier version of this factory, you can look up my 90 nuclear power plant video. This is Phantom 2502, and hopefully you guys will join me for my raw update 4 let's play, where I try to restart this from scratch, but I'll do it a little differently. I will start the same area, But as I said, I think I'll incorporate trains and trucks and stuff because I want to try to avoid the lag as much as possible late game. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I am out. Thank you for watching. Please come back again.